stage lights were blazing as 500 music industry executives watched. But nobody knew a mysterious artist was about to call Michael Jackson a fake performer who can't make real music. In 1985, at the Beverly Hills Hotel, the king of pop took the biggest risk of his career. Just 47 seconds of confrontation would change the music industry forever. Who was this mysterious rival? I'll reveal the shocking truth at the end of this story. But the most incredible part hadn't even started yet. The American Music Awards after party. Beverly Hills Hotel's ballroom was packed with music's biggest names: Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, Lionel Richie, and of course, Michael Jackson, the undisputed king of pop. But beneath the champagne and applause, nobody realized danger was approaching. There was a mysterious artist from Minneapolis, and industry insiders simply called him the artist. This person had been openly criticizing mainstream pop music in recent interviews, and tonight he had come to confront Michael Jackson. Michael was standing near the bar, discussing his latest music video innovations with fans when everything was about to change forever. That's exactly when everything changed. The artist approached with his usual entourage. "Excuse me," he said loudly, cutting through the conversation. "I need to borrow Michael for a minute." The crowd parted, sensing drama brewing in the air. "Michael," his voice carried across the ballroom like a challenge, "I've been watching your little performances. When are you going to stop dancing around and start making real music?" The ballroom froze. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. And this wasn't friendly banter between peers. This was an open attempt to humiliate him in front of 500 of the most powerful people in the music business. Michael's smile never changed, but his eyes turned ice cold. This mysterious artist's real plan was even more shocking. All those videos, all that choreography, all those costumes, he continued, his voice loud enough for everyone in the vicinity to hear every cutting word. "You're more performer than musician. When's the last time you actually picked up an instrument and played something real?" The insult hung in the air like poison, spreading through the crowd in whispered gasps. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. Quincy Jones, who had been standing nearby, tried to intervene. "Maybe this isn't the right time for this kind of discussion." "No, this is exactly the right time." The artist cut him off with brutal efficiency. "Everyone's always comparing us, but there's no comparison. I write my own music. I play every instrument on my records. I produce my own albums. Michael has good choreographers." Several people in the crowd gasped audibly. In the music industry, questioning someone's artistic credibility in public was the ultimate professional insult, and the artist was doing it in front of the most influential people in the business. Michael's voice stayed calm, but those who knew him well could see the storm building behind his carefully controlled expression. "You're obviously having a difficult evening." "Difficult evening." The artist's laugh was harsh and cut through the mounting tension like a blade. "My difficult evening is better than your best album. At least when I perform, people know they're seeing an artist, not just an entertainer with backup dancers." And then he said the words Michael would never forget, never forgive. "Wait, don't miss this crucial detail. Tell me, Michael, when you're up there moonwalking, are you actually thinking about the music? Or are you just counting steps like some Las Vegas showgirl?" The comparison was designed to wound, and it hit its mark perfectly. That was the line he should never have crossed. Michael Jackson set down his champagne glass with deliberate, careful precision. He moved closer to the artist, close enough that their conversation became intimate, dangerous. "You want to do this here? In front of everyone?" The artist smirked with supreme confidence. "So I already did." Michael slowly nodded his head, as if coming to a momentous decision. When he spoke again, his voice was quiet, but somehow reached every corner of the ballroom. "You're absolutely right about one thing. We are very different artists. You play instruments. I create experiences. You make music for musicians. I make music for the world." He paused deliberately, letting that observation sink into every listening ear. "Now, what you're seeing is nothing compared to what's coming." "But since you want to compare our work directly..." Michael's smile was becoming razor-sharp now, dangerous in its precision. "Let's talk about numbers, shall we? Thriller. 66 million copies sold worldwide and counting. Your last album sold how many copies exactly?" The question was surgically precise, designed to cut deep, and the artist's confident expression faltered as his face darkened. "Sales numbers don't measure true artistic integrity." "No," Michael interrupted, his voice growing stronger and more commanding with each word. "But they measure who the world actually wants to hear. You can play every instrument in the studio brilliantly, but can you fill every seat in the stadium?" The crowd was completely silent now, witnessing two superstars systematically tear each other apart in real time. "You want to know the real difference between us?" Michael continued, his voice carrying a weight that seemed to fill the entire space. "When little children hear my music, they smile and dance with pure joy. When they hear yours, they ask their parents to change the station." The artist's jaw clenched visibly. At least they're hearing actual music, and not just watching some elaborate circus act. Michael Jackson stepped back, and everyone could see he had made his final decision. "You won't believe what happened next." "You know what? You're absolutely right about one thing. We should let the world decide who the real artist is between us." "What exactly are you talking about?" "I'm talking about putting our reputations where our mouths are. Next albums, same release window. No special tricks, no elaborate promotional campaigns, just pure musical competition. Winner takes everything." The artist's competitive fire ignited immediately. "You're on. And when my album completely destroys yours commercially and critically, I want a public acknowledgement in the music press that I'm the superior artist." Michael's smile was becoming dangerous now. "Deal. But when I win decisively, you step away from mainstream music entirely. You take a completely different artistic path." Everyone in earshot understood the ultimate nature of this ultimatum. This wasn't about album sales anymore. This was about complete artistic dominance. "You cannot possibly be serious about those terms." "I am deadly serious about every word." And so began a 3-year artistic competition that would consume both men completely. But Michael wasn't just focused on making music. A natural industry process had already begun working in his favor. Media attention was shifting decisively toward Michael. Every major interview about his upcoming Bad album inevitably mentioned this public rivalry. The momentum of commercial success was flowing directly his way. The mysterious artist, meanwhile, It was working brutal 18-hour days in his home studio, playing every instrument himself with technical perfection, crafting intricate arrangements that showcased his superior musical skills. But public interest and industry buzz were following Michael Jackson's every move. The battle was just getting started. When Bad was released in August 1987, it debuted at #1 on every major chart and stayed there for 6 consecutive weeks. The rival album, despite its artistic merits, couldn't even reach #12 on the Billboard charts. But the psychological competition was just beginning to heat up. Michael's Bad Tour became the highest-grossing concert tour in music history at that time. Every single show sold out completely. Every venue was packed with screaming, devoted fans. His mysterious rival, despite critical acclaim for his performances, began playing increasingly smaller theaters instead of major arenas. The contrast was becoming impossible for industry observers to ignore. Just when everyone thought the competition was decided. By 1989, the music industry had rendered its final verdict. Michael Jackson remained the undisputed king of pop, his dominance more complete than ever. His rival? He could no longer achieve the same level of mainstream impact that had once seemed within his grasp. The music press now universally acknowledged Michael as the definitive champion of their artistic battle. The psychological change this mysterious artist experienced was notable to everyone who worked with him. He gradually turned inward, focused more intensely on his craft, and then deliberately distanced himself from mainstream commercial considerations. Michael rarely spoke publicly about their rivalry afterward. When pressed by journalists, he would only say, "Sometimes in music, raw talent alone isn't sufficient. Being in the right place at the right time, understanding your audience, these things matter tremendously too." In the early 1990s, this mysterious rival made the decision to withdraw from mainstream music entirely. He began pursuing a completely different musical journey, far from the commercial spotlight. But the legend of their confrontation lived on. Those 47 seconds at the Beverly Hills Hotel proved a brutal truth about the music industry. Technical skill and artistic integrity alone are not sufficient for lasting success. This mysterious artist genuinely believed he could surpass Michael Jackson through superior musicianship and authentic artistic vision. Instead, Michael demonstrated that being the king of pop required understanding every single aspect of the entertainment business. The music, yes, but also the presentation, the marketing, the public relations, the industry politics. The mysterious artist was undoubtedly the superior technical musician, but Michael Jackson proved to be the better overall competitor, strategist, and industry professional. This story isn't just about two exceptionally talented musicians competing for supremacy. It's a lesson about how sometimes success isn't simply about having the most talent, but about understanding who you're challenging, where you're making that challenge, and how you execute your strategy. A momentary public humiliations make newspaper headlines, but long-term consistent success writes music history. Who was this mysterious rival that dared to challenge the king of pop? The truth is, this character was created purely for entertainment purposes, to illustrate the competitive dynamics that exist in the music industry. If you were confronted with such a public challenge in front of your entire professional industry, how would you have chosen to respond?